off with a song by Johnny Higby and the Blue Street Band. This song, I've heard, is iconic. They sung the song, believe it or not, on Ventnor Beach, on a stage on top of a life-size whale sculpture made out of sand. It was absolutely amazing, and they've been champions. It's a beautiful song for our whales, and they're going to start the event with Save the Whales.
All right, thank you. How you doing?
The ocean, safe and to got to save the ocean on the skies so blue with no ocean pollution. A real solution, go to save the whales. Planet Earth is out of control. Shout it out in the world. Save the whales. Save the whales. Skies so blue. Save the whales. Oh, little sea creatures too. Here we go, ready? La 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 la. Save the whales. Save the whales. No hope. There's on the East Coast. Save the whales. Keep that grass from the sea. Wash away everything. Save the whales. Na 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 na. Save the whales. Na 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 na. Save the whales. Na 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 na. Save the whales. Ready? Save the whales. Thank you.
It's all phenomenal. Just point out, push it up. Hey, and Assemblyman Paul Commander. Assemblyman Paul Commander will be our MC. And here's Trish up.
Welcome to our victory celebration. We're so happy to have you here. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Guys, you want to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now my son Joseph is going to say a prayer for our plant.
Loving God, we thank you for this beautiful planet, the mountains and the seas, and every living thing, from the largest whale to the smallest insect, belongs to you. Your power and glory are reflected in the beauty of the ocean and the strength of the mountains. May we never forget that we are stewards of your creation and that we hold it in trust for future generations. Grant us wisdom to use the earth's resources wisely and the courage to protect them from exploitation. May we always be grateful for nature's gifts, and may we continuously work to preserve and cherish them. Through Christ our Lord, amen.
Amen.
It's fine, Trish. I don't need an introduction or anything. What's going on, guys? How are you? Happy World Whale Day to everybody. Can you believe this? Like, when you really think about it, World Whale Day, it seemed like it was just 10 years ago, 20 years ago that everybody was in agreement. Republicans, Democrats, independents, didn't matter where you were from, who wanted to save the whales, right? And now here we are, and it seems like a small percentage has forgotten about that. But we're here to celebrate the whales and to celebrate all of our various different fights against their destruction out there in our marine habitat. But we're also here to kind of have a little bit of a pre-celebration of the impending defeat of offshore wind. How about that? Now, we're not going to do a George Bush on the aircraft carrier mission accomplished situation here or anything like that. There's still a lot more fight that we've got to have going on here. We got to get across the finish line. There's some very powerful interests out there that are not going to give this up very easily, right? But look, first and foremost, as always, as almost every time, I have to thank Tricia, and I have to thank Leslie, and Rachel, and Trevor, and Jay, and Foster, and everybody else who's all going to be up here today. Because without all of you guys, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have the momentum that we have. I said this to my wife the other day. Very, very few times in your life that you actually feel like you make a difference, right? And as things were crumbling, when Shell announced that they were backing out and they were writing things down, I went to my wife. I go, we literally helped change the world, right? I mean, everybody in this room literally helped change the world. So, I mean, is that worthy of a round of applause? I mean, this is next level stuff when you think about the transformation of the ocean and the sheer number of these turbines that they were going to put out there, and all the whales that we saw washing ashore, and all the marine life that's been harmed and everything like that. And we're on the path to stopping that, to going up against corporate greed, right? I mean, this is a group of just regular people in this room, and we've come so far, and we've battled the multi-billion-dollar corporations, and now here we are. So I really can't comprehend it all. But there's a couple of things that I want to talk about today. And the first thing I'll start off is a little financially focused, and we haven't talked about that. But how many of you guys have noticed your energy bills going up recently? If you look, I mean, especially like gas, your gas prices is through the roof. And you're going to see a lot of noise over the next couple of months about why that's happening and who's to blame. Are you going to blame New Jersey Natural Gas? Are you going to blame the interchange, PJM? The reality of the situation is, it's the New Jersey state government that you have to blame, and it's the federal government, and it's the previous administration that you have to blame. And we had somebody come in to my committee. Obviously, I begged to be on the Energy Committee when I got into the state assembly. And they didn't want me there. And I begged anyway, and I knew that I could be a thorn in the side of all this situation. So we brought in the Division of Rate Counsel. And that guy, his whole job is to literally and truly be objective. And he's really the only person in the entire state government that actually is objective. And he came into a committee a couple of weeks back, and in front of all of us, he said, your energy costs are going to go up for a minimum of 3 years. And the reality of the situation is why? It's because we've subsidized and spent billions of dollars trying to build these things out there, and we haven't invested as a state in the energy infrastructure that we have. And I think most people don't recognize that. And people who could, for whatever reason, they don't care about the whales, they don't care about the ocean, maybe they only like to ski, maybe they only like to hunt, maybe they never go to the beach and lie out and enjoy a beautiful day. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you everybody across the state of New Jersey cares about their pocket and cares about how their finances are going to get impacted as these rate costs continue to go up. So I'm going to ask all of you with a little bit of new information to go out and tell them that it was this Don Quixote-esque pursuit of offshore wind that is costing them and their families hundreds of dollars more a year in energy. Had they not shut down natural gas plants, had they not just spent all the money propping up an industry that couldn't financially support itself, every single person in New Jersey would have more money in their pocket going forward, and that cannot be underscored at all whatsoever. So, that said, by the way, where's all the South Jersey, like Atlantic City, Atlantic County, group right here? Major kudos to you guys. I mean, you went down there into the belly of the beast, Atlantic City Council, and I love Jesse Kirk, Maria Lockett, there's some great people down there. But there's also some corrupt government officials down there in Atlantic City as well. And you guys got them to see the light. I mean, that is, give yourselves a round of applause for that. The victories are starting to come in all form and fashion, right? And when you start to see momentum like this, we need to capitalize on it. We were just talking about, Cindy and I, about how we're going to put in a bill. We think the time might be right to try and actually repeal the local zoning ordinances that my good friend Mayor Peterson has been fighting on this for as long as I have. When you're the mayor and you're a council member in the town, you should have the ability to say what comes into your town and how you're affected by everything. And in the middle of the night, this all got started years ago with them saying, we're going to supersede local authority. And maybe the time is right now in the state assembly to bring that local authority back and say, we don't want cables coming ashore here. We don't want any of it in any of our towns. And all these different battles that are out there, you see Bob Stern out there, you think of all the lawsuits that Save LPI is at, and you talk about that, right? There's little pieces that everybody is carving up, and that we're going to start seeing more and more victories, and we're going to deal a real death blow to the industry here, and that's what I think the major thing that's going to come out of today. You're going to hear everybody speaking individually about how the momentum is changing, and it's going to be absolutely huge. So with that said, we have to bring the two ringleaders to this. The two people who have been here since the very, very beginning. Can we just stop for a minute? I can't tell this story enough, and I will tell it again. I hate repeating stories, but I will say this again, because it seems like just yesterday you guys came to me and you said, we want to have a rally on the Point Pleasant Beach Boardwalk. And I said, okay, you know what, I really feel for the issue. This is something I've been fighting, but is anybody going to show up? And you guys seemed motivated at the time. And I said, all right, I told the police, I told my chief of police that we were going to have 20 to 30. And Leslie and Tricia calls me up, and we're getting closer to the day, and they said, I think there's going to be 50 plus people, maybe even 100 people here. So I called my chief of police up, and I said, you know what, you should send a couple guys down, we're going to have some people show up today. And we started the rally, and there were 1,000 friggin' people. And the rally, it covered the entire area in between the aquarium and Kensington. It went down the boardwalk heading towards Martell, and standing there, you go, holy shit, I can't see daylight, it's just people, and that's a testament to you guys. So without any further delay, here's Leslie Mandel to kick things off.
Who was the mayor of Point Pleasant Beach at that time, who, if it was not for him, we would not be here today. If it wasn't for that, yes. Thank you. Hello and welcome again to our Victory for Wales rally today, or well, it was 2 years ago today that we were standing on the boardwalk in Point Pleasant Beach. Tricia and I did this to raise awareness at the time because whales were dying and we didn't know why. And we didn't feel like enough people knew or were getting involved. So we wanted to raise awareness about whales, about the dangers and damage offshore wind activities were causing, as well as honor the whales who died as a result of it. People who were there got to hear the facts, got to hear the truth from experts, from eyewitnesses, from citizen activists, politicians, and more. We had a great lineup of speakers. It was a phenomenal day. And now, 2 years later, we can celebrate that beginning for our Save Our Whales Now, and it's Trish, because President Trump has signed an executive order putting a halt and pause on offshore wind until more research is done. So thank you, President Trump. This 6-month pause is a huge first step to getting to where we have fought to be, which is the beginning of the end of offshore wind. The work is not over, but today we are here to recognize and acknowledge every voice that has been raised, every action that has been taken, and every heart that has been moved in defense of our whales, our ocean, and our marine life. Thank you to each and every one of you who stood up, spoke out, and dedicated your time, energy, and passion in the fight for our whales, our ocean, and our coastal way of life in all its aspects, from commercial fishing to national security to tourism, to the beauty and sanctity of that great open space. Thank you. Congressman Jeff Van Drew, Congressman Chris Smith, Assemblyman Paul Knichter, Mayor John Peterson, and all the others in the fight, thank you for all you are doing and have done to protect and fight for that out there. I'm trying to keep this quick, but to my friend Tricia DeVoe, who knew that our chance encounter on the beach 2.5 years ago would be the catalyst for planning a rally and working to save our whales? You were the only voice defending our whales when all the other marine and whale and dolphin conservationists remained silent about what was happening. It was Trish who stood up.
Go Trish!
Belmont fleet, who also was, and I know you're going to speak to this, the only fleet who stood up for our whales. Thank you for all you've done to defend and protect them. A few more people. Cindy Ziff, who's here. Thank you for all you have done to bring our ocean back to good health, and for all that you are doing to fight to keep our ocean free from industrialization. You define what an unwavering commitment to our ocean looks like. Bravo. who is the biggest advocate of the ocean, has been there at every step. Like me, our ocean advocate, who is also an accounting collaborator, research, documents, Bonnie Brady, who you will hear from in a little while via FaceTime, who's the executive director of the Long Island Fishermen's Association, has been also another, she's been a rock star in the fight, and a long time. And if you have not seen her video, I highly suggest watching it. It's Bonnie Brady's Ocean Crash Course in Offshore Wind and the Offshore, in the anti-fishing lobby. And finally, to Assemblyman Falconetri, you exemplify what believing in something looks like. You are truly passion in action, and we thank you for it. On our rally, none of us would be here. And the rally did what we hoped it would do, which was to bring people together, raise awareness, get people energized and motivated to fight for our ocean, to save our whales and stop offshore wind. It is defined here today, the power of yes. The power of yes, we can. And the power of people in grassroots action, because it is seen, heard, and effective. So today we celebrate the victory for our whales. Thank you, all of you.
Yes, we're so thankful for the people of Sawmill for letting us take this event inside. And now that you guys are warm, you have drinks, you have food, I don't feel guilty about speaking longer than I usually stand on speaking. So get comfortable. Welcome everyone to our Victory for Whales celebration. I want to first thank the people of Fronttown Beach and the Sawmill for being so generous and kind and allowing us to use their facilities for this event. We truly appreciate their support. And thanks to all of you for coming out on this cold, windy day, but to come out to celebrate this incredible milestone in our fight to protect our whales and ocean. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Trisha DeVoe. I'm a conservation biologist. I'm a naturalist for the best whale watching boat in New Jersey, the Miss Belmar, and I'm the founder of Save Our Whales Now. So I see many familiar faces here today, many whom I call friends, but the crazy thing is, I didn't even know most of you just 2 years ago. If any of you told me in January of 2023 that the new year would put me on an urgent crusade to save the whales, and that I would hold a huge rally on the beach in the dead of winter, and then continue to speak publicly at rallies and bridge walks and community events, and I'd be interviewed by news reporters and radio hosts and on podcasts and in documentaries, and even testify at a Senate hearing, I'd say you were completely crazy. And if you added that I'd be a mermaid on a whale float, maybe that one I could believe. But if you said that my very private and reserved husband would be alongside me, dressed as King Neptune, wearing this light and a long wig, I would have said you were completely out of your mind. That's totally impossible. But if I've learned anything from working alongside of all of you these last years, I've learned that nothing is impossible. You've all proven that. And for those of you who weren't at the parade, I did make a picture so you can all see my husband in his King Neptune outfit. Sorry. But anyway, I have learned from all of you in this journey that truly nothing is impossible. For me, this journey started with a whale, who many of you know as Hope. Hope literally changed my life. She was a young female humpback that stranded on the beach in Atlantic City on January 7, 2023. I was a stranding volunteer at the time with the Marine Mammal Stranding Center, and I assisted in the necropsy. When we finished doing the necropsy, I asked when we would get the results. Now, at the time, I had no idea what a taboo question that is, and that it rarely gets answered. So I was told that NOAA takes months to determine the cause of death, and they usually don't send the results back to the democracy teams. So that answer struck me as really odd. I mean, it didn't make any sense. And I don't know why, but something rose up inside me, and I felt compelled to get answers. Before I left her grave on the beach that day, I promised Hope that she would not die in vain. I promised her that I would tell her story. But little did I know what a story it would turn out to be. And I had no idea what I was getting into. Now, at that time, Hope was the 7th whale to wash up dead on the New York, New Jersey beaches in just a month's time. And by the end of that month, 4 more whales died on our shores. This was highly unusual, but nobody was talking about it. All my colleagues at marine mammal conservation groups said it was typical strandings and nothing to be concerned about. But what I was being told and what I was seeing were two completely different things. The number of whales dying in such a short period of time was unprecedented. I knew something was very wrong, but I had no idea what I could do about it. I mean, I was just one person. I wasn't with a group. What could I possibly do? I felt completely powerless. Until someone who I didn't even know at the time reached out to me on Facebook Messenger. And that someone was Leslie Mangold. She wanted, now I call her my dear friend and partner in crime. Leslie wanted to invite me to a rally she was planning for World Whale Day, and that became a pivotal moment in my life. A rally, I thought, what a great idea. And within minutes, we were on the phone chatting and planning to save our whales rally. So we agreed that since I work with whales, I should be the one to speak about the recent increase in the number of whale deaths and why this is so alarming. But in all honesty, I was scared to speak out. The silence from the nonprofits, except for Clean Ocean Action. But the silence of all the other groups made it painfully clear that this was a controversial issue and there were big, powerful players involved. I really wasn't sure if I could handle it at all. I knew that once I spoke up for the whales, there'd be no turning back. But I also knew that I couldn't live with myself if I did nothing. I knew I had to try to help the whales. So nervous about the potential fallout, I called my boss, Captain Alan Shin, to tell him I was going to speak publicly about the whale deaths and see if he didn't want me to say that I worked for him. Not only did he say I could mention his business name, but he became the only whale watching company to support our cause and take a public stand for the whales. So I want to give a huge shout out. Thank you, Captain Allen, if you're watching out there, for all you've done for our whales. So Leslie and I started planning a rally, but neither of us had done anything like this before, and we had no idea what we were doing. We didn't even know if we would get any speakers or if people would attend. We didn't even have a place to hold a rally until our hero, the former Point Pleasant Beach mayor and now New Jersey Assemblyman Paul Knicha, greenlighted approval for us to gather on Point Pleasant Beach. Paul made everything easy for us. All he wanted to know was how many people we expected to have. And as you heard, we didn't know. We wanted to be maybe 100 at best. So that's what we told him. Well, we were completely blown away, and so was Paul, by the nearly 1,000 people who braved the cold to listen to our speakers and show their support. People came from up and down the coast. A lot of you were there. People came of all different ages, from different backgrounds, but with the same concern about the number of whales dying off our shore. We were also amazed about and honored by the incredible speakers who came to speak at our rally. We had longtime ocean advocate, ocean champion, and executive director of Clean Ocean Action, Cindy Zipsky. Cindy has been a role model and constant source of support for Leslie and I since we started on this journey, and we can't thank you enough, Cindy. Thank you. Thank you. We also had Mike Dean, a fierce advocate for the ocean, Connie Brady, the head of the Long Island Beach Association, our own Seaside Park Mayor, John Peterson, we had, as I mentioned, former Point Pleasant Beach Mayor, current assemblyman, and who I believe to be a future president of the United States, Paul And we also had two amazingly dedicated congressmen, Congressman Smith and Congressman Drew, at us today. They've been champions of this fight. They spoke about what was happening in our ocean, things that many of us were shocked to learn. They sounded the alarm about the fast tracking of the offshore wind projects and the potential threats to our ocean, marine life, and our national security. And not only were the people there concerned, but they wanted to do something about it. So they joined existing grassroots groups like Protect Our Coast. We have someone from Protect Our Coast here, some of you guys. We had Save LBI, Defend Brigantine Beach, and some new groups were formed as well, like our very special Save the East Coast. We had professionals from every field step up and offer their time and talents. Lawyers filed lawsuits, and acoustic specialists like Bob Stern and Robert Graham did their own research on the harmful sound levels of offshore wind activity. We even had a very talented graphic designer, Rachel, who did all our flyers and posters and even designed a billboard for our cause. But like I say, you can take the girl out of New Jersey, but you can't take New Jersey out of the girl. And she's been a fierce fighter for our ocean. So thank you, Rachel. We even had a computer genius. So Apostle Sterosalis created a computer program he named after one of the whales that died. He named the program Luna, and this shows the positive correlation between offshore wind activity and the whale deaths. So this effort was massive. The people of New Jersey joined forces with the common goal of protecting our ocean and marine life from the reckless and deadly offshore wind projects. So this event is our way of thanking every one of you for all your efforts. Together, you held rallies, bridge walks, hands across the beaches. You guys did fundraisers, community outreach, protests. I think some of you may have even gotten arrested. I won't name anyone. But you guys attended hearings, submitted public comments, signed petitions, and held candlelight vigils for our lost whales. The movement was powerful and amazing. The people of New Jersey are amazing, and all of you are amazing. Give yourself a hand. One of my favorite events was the rally at Venter Beach, where John Galley created a life-size humpback whale sand sculpture, and Johnny Higbee and the Blue Street Band sang their Save the Whale song that you heard today. I mean, there's a picture up here of that was absolutely amazing. I mean, only in New Jersey would you see something like that. Grassroots activism at its finest. We took it to the streets, or should I say to the beaches, and we raised awareness of what was happening in our ocean. And one thing I can say about the people of New Jersey is that we can be loud. And boy, did we make our voices heard. With the help of all of you and our elected officials, especially Senator Knitschel, Congressman Smith, and Congressman Van Drew, our voices were heard all the way to Washington, D.C. President Trump heard the people of New Jersey loud and clear. On his first day in office, he signed an executive order that will ultimately be the end of offshore wind on our coast. Promises made, promises kept. Thank you, President Trump. I also want to thank my husband and my 3 boys for supporting me on this journey. Oh, no, so, like many of you were, I was consumed with the fight. I didn't realize how much time it was taking away from my family until one day my son, I won't name him, but he's sitting over here today, he needed me for something when I was busy and distracted dealing with yet another whale stranding. And he said, "Mom, these whales have to stop dying." He was so right. So I want to thank my boys for not destroying the house or each other during the last 2 years. Love you guys. While we celebrate this victory, though, I think it's really important to remember why we all fought so hard. In the last 2 years, we were fighting on land, our whales were dying at sea. 45 whales stranded on our beaches, and we knew that there were many more dead whales out in the ocean that never washed up on shore. Every stranding broke our hearts and strengthened our resolve to keep fighting. But every force seemed to be against us. Our federal government was fast-tracking these projects without proper environmental studies, and nonprofit organizations that were created to protect our marine mammals were silent, except again for Clean Ocean Action and Cindy Zeb, our heroes. So many people told us we were wasting our time and efforts, that we could not stop offshore wind projects, that the enemy was too big, too rich, and too powerful. And they were. We were fighting an industry that has billions of dollars, but we didn't have any money to speak of. We weren't funded by big oil like they said we were. We were just everyday people fighting for what we believed in. This was truly a modern-day David versus Goliath battle. We took on a giant that nobody thought we could defeat. There were many times when it looked impossible, even to us, but we didn't give up hope. We may not have always realized it, but we were doing God's work, protecting His creation. God was fighting right alongside us the entire time, and God always wins. So if there was one thing I could say to the young people out there, especially to my 3 boys, I would say, never be afraid to stand up for what you believe in, and never let anyone tell you that you can't do something. When you believe, all things are possible. And all of you have proven that. You stood up, you took on a giant enemy to protect our ocean and our marine life. And together we won the battle. Offshore wind is tumbling down. We deserve to celebrate, but we're not done fighting yet. There's still work to be done. First, we must finalize the end of offshore wind and our ocean for good. And second, we need to join forces with Clean Ocean Action to get the Clean Ocean Zone legislation passed to ensure our ocean will be permanently protected from all industrialization in the future. It's a huge feat, but if anyone can do it, the people in this room can do it. Together, we will leave a legacy of a healthy, vibrant ocean and an abundance of dolphins and whales for generations to come. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Okay, well, we all know what a huge help our members of the U.S. Congress have been down in Washington, D.C., right? Congressman Smith has looked into so many different federal aspects of this that have been steamrolled by the Biden administration, whether it was the radar implications off our coast when all the wind turbines were out there, whether it was the critically endangered North Atlantic right whale. Congressman Chris Smith has been a true champion for this effort. And let's give him a round of applause. As any good politician who used to be a federal government staffer knows, it's the people under the politician that get a lot of everything done. And Jess Rohr from Congressman Chris Smith's office has been everywhere, has been his emissary to all these efforts. She's been a huge help in this fight as well, and she's going to come up here to read a little bit.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me this afternoon. So I just want to share a letter that the Congressman wrote. I do want to pass along that I also spoke to Congressman Van Groot's office. They wish they could be here today, but they are very, very, very supportive in our big fight, as you guys know. So I'm reading it for Congressman's letter, so let you guys know. I would like to thank and congratulate you for your continued determined efforts to stop the grossly negligent, legally dubious, and environmentally catastrophic industrialization of our oceans. Together, we have been in the trenches, doing research, making our case, and exposing significant flaws in the review process. I have authored 2 pieces of legislation adopted by the House of Representatives. One requiring presidential certification that offshore wind projects would not weaken, degrade, interfere with radar relied upon by commercial or military flights. The House also passed my amendment requiring an independent investigation by the Government Accountability Office into impacts that the wind turbines would have on the environment, fishing industry, military operations, navigational safety, and more. That audit is in its final phases. I tell you today, we have finally been heard. President Donald Trump has taken the decisive action to help end our offshore wind nightmare, issuing an amazing executive order establishing a pause until the completion of a comprehensive review of these projects, the questionable analysis, and seemingly rigorous approval process. The review will look at much of what we have raised at our rallies and in my legislation. For years, we have been uncovering the Biden-Harris administration, as well as the Murphy administration's reckless rush to establish massive offshore wind projects. Shamelessly, both Biden and Murphy have ignored citizen concerns, unilaterally dismissing specific questions regarding the dangers of industrial wind fields present to whales, other marine mammals, our national security, and the livelihoods of our coastal communities. Thankfully, President Trump's executive order will ensure an extensive examination of real costs in the environment, the taxpayer, the ratepayer, our security, and economy here in New Jersey. Last week, I met with Acting Director of Falls, reiterating our many questions that will now be a part of the Trump pause and review. I expect the horrific whitewashing of these projects by Biden and Murphy to finally come to light. Some dominoes have already fallen. First, after a huge subsidy from the Murphy administration, Orsted pulled out 2 of their projects that took more than the reported $2.26 billion hit. And last month, Shell Energy, a massive foreign multinational, announced within its withdrawal from Atlantic Shores Wind Project, taking almost $1 billion right off the process. It is called the cut and run, and it underscores how ill-conceived these dangerous projects are and how callous industrial wind companies can be when not prompted by expedited shipyard reviews and unlimited taxpayer dollars. The truth is being heard, but we must remain vigilant. Local New Jersey residents spoke up. We are in the fight, and we are turning the tide. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Alright, I got a real crowd pleaser for you guys next year. So when I was mayor and I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed coming into the office, I was obviously looking for people who had done the job and done it right before. And I can't tell you. And right now, in my district, I have 16 different mayors. And I don't have a single mayor more passionate and that stands up for more of what he believes in. Mayor John Peters. And it's an opportunity to kind of speak with one voice about the issues that matter most. And in the earliest days of this fight, you were standing out in front of everybody, Mayor Peters and myself included. We were standing hand in hand, I guess you would say. And you have been here every step along the way, representing the local interest so fiercely. And he probably won't even say this when he speaks. But you should know, we were knocking on doors for his re-election last year. He told me that the opponents, local opponents for local offices in Seaside Park, what are 1,800 residents in Seaside Park? 1,800, they were funded by offshore wind. The mayor of council, they is that granular that he had to run against candidates who are funded by offshore wind. Here's a guy who stands up for what he believes in. Give one more round of applause.
I heard talk about the White House before. I think I'll second that. Now, let's get him in the governor's office first.
Yeah, right.
In all seriousness, obviously, there's no way today's rain is going to rain on this parade, and to celebrate each and every one of you, the organizations you represent, those elected officials who dared to speak the truth over the last 4 years, 5 years or more, that stood out and had that courage that we all admire, that we all need now more than ever. I want to thank especially our hosts here and those of you who knew. I thank Bill Majors and Funtown here who are ready to have this as another fun-filled outdoor event here today. And we've had many before with a sand sculpture and a lot of music and good times back last year and perhaps again. And then certainly for pinch hitting, stepping in at the last minute and providing this beautiful venue. I thank the Sawmill, I thank DJ Don Frio, Maria, Ron, the management, and everyone here who works at the Sawmill for hosting this. On short notice for a rain day, it's a wonderful setting, and we want to patronize them as well. And I thank all the members, all leading the charge. We have a Beach Bear Coalition, but none of that would be possible without the help, support, and support for our environment from the Seaside Park Borough Council. I welcome them here today. We have Councilman Connor, Councilman Kraft, has always stood together for the environment, the ocean. The whales are a big part of that environment. And certainly, I go back to a time when Cindy Zepson's Clean Ocean Action helped lead a coastal coalition. There was never a question when you have the Congress members of both political parties always standing up for our coast, always together, always standing up not just for whales, but for marine life, which is representative of life itself, if you ask me. And we in Seaside Park, as you all know, had the very unfortunate event, but at least it helped publicize our fight when a whale washed up here, windy, and we all were greatly moved, and it perhaps heightened awareness of each and every one of us even further, the feel that we all had. And then right next door, and I'm waiting, Governor Murphy, you claimed that you were going to restore Island Beach State Park when it was ripped apart by your electrified cable. I'm waiting, it's still there. It is a great deal celebration, and it goes back perhaps to the 60s and 70s that every one of us does matter. And I remember those of you who know me well know I drive some clinkers of motor vehicles. My wife did it one time, no longer, but back then I remember she had one of the old bumper stickers, Question Authority, and I know there was another bumper sticker back then also, that it was think globally and act locally. And we were told just in the last few years, you're never going to succeed at this. You're never going to win. I remember a good friend, retired police officer, said, you're not going to, it's coming. You're not going to win that. And I said, yes, we are. The ocean comes first. The Jersey Shore, the heart and soul of our economy and everything, our way of life. That's why we're here. It brings us all together. It's the lifeblood of everyone, and it's actually of New Jersey itself. And certainly, I thank each and every one of you for everything you've done, your individual organizations, that we all do matter. Each and every one of us. Stand up, do the job, cry out when it doesn't make sense, when the government tells you, oh, nothing to worry about. They're famous for that. They just told us, nothing to worry about. Those whales, why they're just a few scattered whales coming in. Well, it used to be once every 15 years or 20 years, you'd see one of these magnificent, awesome creatures, and then all of a sudden we have 23 of them. Nothing to worry about. That's what they told us. We had Tears. They were making a movie right here at Seaside Park to spread awareness up and down the East Coast. Recently, it was just 1 year ago, and we literally had tears in our eyes as we did when that magnificent whale washed up here. And now, 1 year later, we may have tears, but they're tears of jubilation.
Yes!
We certainly don't want to be Nick Downer on the 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live weekend. Stay vigilant. Don't let your guard down. There are thoughts, there's efforts always out there to attack our ocean. And it's not just the massive, outrageous industrialization through wind turbines and otherwise. There are those that, for some reason, advocate oil drilling in our precious ocean. And I say, fight that to the end. We have not yet Shell, another massive foreign corporation. And why weren't there any New Jersey or national American corporations? They were all foreign corporations with no safeguards, no recourse through the courts, no bonding, no insurance. And those of you going around here is a piece of the shore, washed ashore. Now it's coming down to Montauk from the other wake-up call from this last summer, July 17th, that happened right off of Nantucket, that they tried to hide. The AP wire service somehow missed that, just as they missed a massive win in the federal district court in the Osage Native Peoples case, where they actually won. We hear all about these isolated judges in the district court. This case proved this case. Somehow they missed that one. In December, there was a wind turbine. This was land-based, but this is similarly ill-advised and outrageous. And they actually won the case, but you're not reading about that anywhere. It's not in the Times, it's not in the AP, but for some reason, but they won, and the federal district court stands right now to tear down 84 wind turbines, and their defense is, well, gee, we can't do that. How do you do that? Because they don't post bonds, they have no safeguards, they have no decommissioning plan, just as these outrageous wind turbines off of here had no plan whatsoever, because they were always going to leave it there. That was their plan. But not being a downer, this is a happy day. Each and every one of us matters, and we can do it. Take away that hand and save our
Great job, Andy. All right, so in the early days, right, it was Leslie and Tricia and their kind of heartfelt stories, their emotional pleas, Pierce and I yelling and screaming. But you need facts and figures too, and objectivity. And one of the components was somebody traveled around with all their charts, right? You pull out the charts, you pull out the easel, you pull out the PowerPoint slides, and that's Mike D. And without the facts and figures, without getting into the nitty-gritty, without highlighting everything. And look, the easiest thing in the world is for the federal and state government, when we would just say, we think it's affecting the sonar, we think it's affecting this, we think you're past the threshold levels on what you're allowed, yada, yada, yada. They would just go, no, that's not right. No, that's not true, right? That's the easiest thing in the world. But the unique thing about this movement was that in any argument that you could see, any time that they were trying to say, no, it's not sonar that was doing this, no, it's environmentally friendly, our movement had all the facts and figures. They really didn't have any standing. Their own incident reports, their own take reports, the levels that Rand Engineering found that was already terrific. Every step along the way, we had them against their heels. That's why we're doing well in lawsuits and everything like that. And Mike keeps the bodies of all those facts and figures. Come out here. Give everybody a hand.
Let's do kind. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Leslie. This is awesome. Just to see everyone. I didn't have all the facts. I got facts from Bob.
You traveled with
From
me.
Cindy. I put them on a chart. But I'm just honored to be here. I thank everyone that has had a hand in this. All the groups together need to take a bow. We did it. New Jersey helped stop it. We have some stuff to clean up, but that's small potatoes compared to what we've accomplished, right? I mean, there's nobody that had a vision 2 years ago that thought president was going to get elected, and on his first day in office, sign an executive order saying, "Where with you guys?" You know, where was all of us? So we all deserve credit for making noise and making that the issue. I'd say the East Coast, we made it an issue in every political election we could. We'll continue to do that. We're going to continue to elect people like Paul and Mayor Peterson and Chris, Congressman Smith and Andrew. Going forward, big election in New Jersey this year, we know that, but this isn't a political day, this is a day to celebrate. I will leave you with this. Everybody, remember, when President Trump talked, well, that's before he was president, but candidate Trump talked about the windmills, whatever he talked about. What did he say?
Disaster.
He said, the people of New Jersey are going crazy. He always put us in the conversation. And that's because we made the most noise and we had the facts. We all had them together and we made it an issue. We fought them in the court of public opinion. We fought them in the streets, you know, with protests, going to all the municipal meetings and whatnot. We fought them in the courts with Bob leading the way with court cases and litigation here and there. And we'll continue to fight them at the ballot box. We'll continue to fight them with legislation. And we'll support policies that oppose offshore wind and we'll support candidates that oppose offshore wind. So, thank you again, Tricia and Leslie. I'm honored to be part of this.
I've seen him speak and he doesn't have an easel on him, so it makes me like I don't know what I'm talking about. Fine. All right. Well, while we're talking about experts here, we have to get into the next level component, right? Because when you're just a group of individuals and you're fighting and you're making a loud noise and you're trying to bring awareness to it, that's one thing. When you're actually putting things into the legal sphere, you're actually putting legal fights and you're putting these companies on their heels. That's a whole other thing. And Bob Stern from State LPI and their group has done just that. Why don't you come up and tell us a little bit about maybe all the projects that you have working and when you're going to release, when you're going to lay off a little bit on these guys.
Thank you. And greetings from LPI. I think, you know, the previous speakers have laid out sort of the landscape we're facing. You know, put a major brake on this project. Project says it's still moving forward. I'm not sure I believe that. That's significant. It is not easy. I worked in Washington. I've seen a lot of screwy projects. Not as screwy as this, but and once they get going, it's not easy to stop them. You know, they just get a momentum of their own. They just keep rolling along. So to put a brake on this, it's significant, and everybody should take some pride in that and reflect on that. But also, as everybody indicated, this is not dead till it's dead. And so we're keep pursuing things. I just want to share a few of the things that we're going to keep doing. And one particularly regarding the whales. But we're pursuing our lawsuit. We filed a major lawsuit on January 10th, alleging violation of like 6 environmental statutes. I don't know if there's an environmental statute that they have complied with. You know, it's 6 of them. And, you know, and that was a big one. It's a big one. We locked them all together into one lawsuit. I like to think that Shell read it, and maybe it scared them a little bit, but it was everybody. What everybody did, I think, caused Shell to reflect. But we're still pursuing that lawsuit, and the purpose of that lawsuit is to get the project approvals overturned. This project did get approvals from the prior administration, and that gives them an advantage. They have a leg up. So we're trying to get those approvals overturned in court. And through the lawsuit. Another way we're going to do that, or try to do that, which particularly relates to the right whales and humpback whales, is is we're going to go directly to NOAA, and we're going to try to point out to them that the way they have been doing business, the way they have been reviewing these projects is bogus. It is just bogus. When you look at the reports they use, they have a company called Jasco Applied Sciences. That company is supposed to have a good reputation. In their reports, it's hard to figure out what they're doing because they just kind of plug everything into a super duper computer model. They run the model comes out with an answer, and we're supposed to accept the answer. And the answer is always low. It is always low. And so we've tried to go into that, tried to decipher what they're doing. We've done our own calculations, and I think our calculations are valid, and they do not show low impact. So where NOAA has been saying there will be no right whales killed from a project like this, we come up with a number that says, no, there's going to be 6 or 7 right whales killed. And that makes a huge difference because they're not supposed to go over 1. So that's a difference between approving and not approving. So we're going to go back to NOAA and point out, lay out all these numbers, and hope that we can get the NOAA administrator to realize that his agency has not been doing things right. Because we got to get all this fixed. Because if you just repeat this in the future, you just keep approving things that make no sense. So we're going to be doing that, and I hope we can get cooperation from the new administrator to try to do this right in the future. And obviously that's not just for offshore wind projects, that's for any project. Any project that goes offshore, we've got to get the numbers straight. So that's going to be an effort. We're also going to pursue, you probably heard about this, but there's some very lucrative incentives in the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed under the previous administration, where tax credits are provided to the offshore wind companies. If those can be rescinded, these projects may not be economically viable, and that would get them to disappear. So there's still a whole bunch of things that we need to do. We're not letting our guard up until we're absolutely certain that not only is this project dead, but that no project reappears here in 5 or 6 years. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to keep doing this every 6 years. So anyway, we'll keep going. Stick with your groups. Keep supporting your groups. We're going to be watching everything, and we're going to be looking for every possible tool to make sure that dead is dead. Okay, so we'll be on it.
All right, in case you've ever wanted to know the difference between a congressman and an assembly person, is Congressman Smith and Van Drew, I don't think would ever be trying to hold up a cell phone with a microphone. Everybody say hi to Bonnie Brady. She's out in Montauk right now. Obviously, we all know Bonnie. She's with the Long Island Commercial Fishermen's Association. Bonnie, let's see if we can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
All right.
I'll try to talk really quick, Paul. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for virtually having me here today. I really wish I could be eating New Jersey pizza at this very moment. And in addition to being a member of the executive director for the Long Island Commercial Fishing Association, I'm also speaking today as a board member of Protect Our Coast New Jersey. So, woohoo! All right, I want to thank everyone today from the bottom of my heart for the efforts you've made since day one at the rally in Point Pleasant. For those of you that were there, you will all remember it was a magical day. There were hundreds of people there that just suddenly migrated down to the boardwalk on a cold winter day in February. A sea of ordinary citizens who all love our oceans and wanted to do something to help. Everyone had made their own homemade whale signs.
kids with their messages in crayons, parents and grandparents with many versions. And I don't know if you guys remember, but it sticks in my head the one old man who clearly took his white decoy of a whale off of his wall and stuck it on his dowel to carry it around like a waving flag with a giant, what was that, guy, 60 feet long, floating above us all on the beach. Gen Xers with their kids, grandparents, old hippies like me, all there with one mission: stop the offshore wind surveys. Moratorium. Find out what was killing our whales. And when I say our whales, it's because collectively those whales needed our voices. A lot has happened since December 2022 when the carnage began. Close to 150 large whales dead from Maine to Florida since December of 2022 until now. I say, quote, close to, because I can confirm 106 up to June 6th of 2024, but still need to confirm the others. 150 is an estimate based on the lowest number in a flurry of dead whales in the last half of 2024 that I feel comfortable knowing it may be more than that. And I'm trying, but every weekend something happens. But I will get that figure before 2025 is over, and hopefully it'll be stopped by then. Dozens of survey vessels in federal waters crisscrossing the Atlantic, in addition to 237 turbines being pile-driven, turbines and blades being assembled, and in the case of Vineyard Wind off Nantucket, disassembled, underwater bulldozing on Cox's Ledge, hundreds of miles of cables being jet-trenched and jet-plowed, thousands of metric tons of rocks completely transforming pristine sand shoal ocean benthic habitat as the death count rose. And still, no moratorium. So here we are a year later, and while the winds, which include Orsted walking away from ocean wind, Atlantic shores looking like an orphan in its quest for a partner, and the central Atlantic lease area is not moving forward, this fight is unfortunately far from over. Many elected officials, including the amazing efforts of Congressman Van Buren Smith, Assemblyman Knicker, can also balance a phone and a mic marvelously. Mayor Peterson and other local mayors, county commissioners, and legislators have done amazing lifts to help in this battle. And Trish Deveau and Leslie Mangold have saved the whales, and Cindy Zip and Clean Ocean Action fighting for our marine life. And many of you have stepped up in any way you can to fight this fight, because the Jersey Shore belongs to all of us. Many formed groups, all with the same goal. Let's face it, Jersey is the epicenter of fighting offshore wind, and I am so in awe and appreciative that when the call came for foot soldiers to arm up and fight against these faceless foreign governments, multinational corporations, and private equity types, you New Jerseyans all answered the rally cry at the state. Commercial fishermen have been battling offshore wind since 2014, but when we as a group needed more voices to amplify the injustices and harms to the oceans and our livelihoods, you New Jerseyans all jumped in with both feet and said, hell no, this will not happen on our watch. Not to our whales. Not to our whales, not to our fishermen, not to our beaches, and not to our communities. And for that I am forever grateful. So enjoy today with your fellow wind warriors, celebrate the winds, but also steel yourself and get ready for the rest of the battle. We aren't there yet, but Protect Our Coast New Jersey will be with all of you to fight the good fight. Surveys and construction must stop. Leases must be relinquished. The Trump administration is on the right path via a pause, but we must stay vigilant to be able to educate our neighbors, communities, and legislators on the true costs of offshore wind farms, their transmission cables, substations, lithium-ion battery sites, and getting all that crap, that garbage out of the ocean so it can go back to the way it was and should always be. Why destroying the ocean to save it will never be the answer. Thank you all for fighting alongside us and with us. Thank you for fighting for fishermen, for marine life, for our oceans, and especially for our whales. Pretty sure they would thank us for it if they could. Thank you, guys.
Great job, great job. And it shut my lip the whole time. I was trying to get it to there. I fairly well too, right? Everybody got to see a little bombing? All right, good. All right, well, look, one of the other parts of this whole effort that's been incredible is just all the individuals that have started their own regional groups, right? I mean, how many different groups have started up, right? To protect their little areas, to protect their vision, and then those efforts have compounded on each other from there. And Lisa Dardone had started as Defend Brigantine and has moved on to defend our beaches because you guys have expanded your efforts so much. We alluded to the big victory in Atlantic City. All the grant dollars that these companies have been passing out and local projects that they've been trying to fund. I mean, and I believe some smaller towns down here, Brigantine too, were initially supportive of offshore wind. It really takes a strong local
got to save the ocean. Save the planet too. Got to save the ocean. Of the skies so blue. With mills, ocean pollution, searching for a real solution. Go to save the whales. Planet Earth is out of control. Shout it out in the world.